I like when I interact with the guests and they have a story to tell you, and you're also a part of their story going forward. I had a guest actually every day on their excursions, she would leave me a little comic book, or like a little comic drawing on her little placemat in front of like what they were going to do for the day. And I don't know, just stuff like that. It's always nice to have that around.
I mean, from the moment you come on the ship, everything is customized and personalized to you. And over and over, I hear the comments, how do they get so many kids that are so happy all the time? Because they're working all the time. But it's like they never get through one cruise and they start the other, but they're just as happy and they treat you so special, so very special when you come on board.
It's all about relationship. And I think that's what I hear. People want to know how you're doing today, but more importantly, our crew is asking people that. And I think that's extremely important, that they know they're cared for. And the fact is, they care for us too. And that relationship is really the strongest thing that I think I've seen with American Cruise Lines, is people say, I'm going to come back because I love this experience. But more importantly, I love the people who really are concerned about me.
It's like you meet so many nice people, you meet nice crew. I can't tell you how many people are in my phone that are crew members for American Cruise Lines. And it's like coming home to family. There's absolutely no reason to go with anybody else.
Oh, that is absolutely lovely. See, Cindy, you're playing with the lights. Hey, how are you? There you go. Oh, you got some light. How are you, Cindy?
I'm excellent. How are you today?
Doing fantastic. Hey, everybody, welcome. If you're new to the channel, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor from Where's Walter Travel. And every Thursday night, we'd like to bring on some of our travel partners. And we've had Cindy on in the past, and she was a huge hit, got so many comments after the show. I'm so thankful to have you back. And we're going to talk about American rivers and coastlines tonight. Yes.
Yes. Good old USA.
I like your jacket. And I see we've got, let's see, we got Sue, we got Rick, we got Jen, I got Norma, Alec, Becky, Eric. Hey, everybody. Thanks so much for joining in tonight. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to subscribe, like, share, do all that good stuff, so YouTube and Facebook know that you like what we are doing. And yeah, we're actually live on YouTube, Facebook, and I think LinkedIn tonight. So how about that? All three channels. Of course, if you have any questions at all, please do go ahead and drop them into the comments. We'll do our very best to answer them. Cindy's got a lot of great stuff to share with us tonight. I love how you're just like bouncing around. That's kind of fun. You know, we got a little action camera going on here.
I'm trying to get central in this screen here.
That's so awesome. I'm actually sitting outside. It's rather warm here in Orlando. How is it where you are?
It's warm, but you know, it's always warmer in Orlando since you guys don't have the water around you. You have all the lakes.
Yes, that is absolutely true. We don't
the
have
hottest
the
place in Florida
breeze.
is Orlando.
Yeah, it's very, but you know, it's kind of like living in Atlanta, so it's really not all that much different for me. So, all right. So welcome back to the show. So why don't we just start off, you know, the last time you were here, we really took a deep dive into, well, who is American Cruise Line, kind of introducing. Tonight, we're going to spend a little bit more time talking about your itineraries and things like that. But first, for those people who have never been on American Cruise Line or maybe didn't even realize there was an American Cruise Line, why don't you kind of give us the high-level overview of who you guys are and what you do?
Okay. Well, honestly, Walter, we've been around a long time. We've been around over 50 years.
Wow.
And, when the company was started originally, it was a coastal product. We were not doing the rivers. It was started by the Robertson family, which is based out of Guilford, Connecticut. And they have Mr. Robertson that started the company. He passed away a couple of years ago. But his sons were very involved in the company since little kids. And today, the three sons run the company. So they're very fortunate because, you know, today we have 19 ships. Mm-hmm. We have our own shipyard, which is based in Salisbury, Maryland. That's
wow.
Shipbuilding yard. Yeah, we build all of our ships there. And we build tugboats. So that shipyard is busy all the time.
Wow.
Yes. And so what's nice is, we have so many waterways in the USA, and we're building the types of ships that need to be on these waters. And so we have a very diverse fleet of ships. What's great is that we have, large variety of itineraries, over 50 different itineraries.
Wow.
And so 90% of Americans can drive to these ports. So for those folks that don't like to fly, they can certainly drive. And what we do is, we're keeping all of our ships under 200 guests. So it is a very
Wow.
interesting experience. Yep. And
Wow.
there you're showing our map.
Yeah.
And, it doesn't show all the itineraries, but just to give you an idea, of course, our most popular is going to be the lower Mississippi. We do the entire Mississippi, lower and upper, from New Orleans to Memphis, and upper from St. Louis to Minneapolis. And you can do the whole river if you like. We also do the tributaries. We do the Ohio from St. Louis to Pittsburgh, and we do the Tennessee River. Now, we just started doing the Tennessee River last year, and that goes from Chattanooga to Nashville. And then we do
Wow.
a great itinerary called the Music City Cruise. And that seems to be a really favorite one. You can start in Nashville or Memphis, but what's great about it, it actually goes on the Cumberland River, the Ohio River, and the Mississippi River.
Oh, wow.
Plus the fact you get a lot of music as well. And then, we've got the Columbian Snake, which is very popular. That's from Portland, Oregon to Clarkston, Washington. And then you can see along down the coastline, we have a lot of itinerary. Most of those are operated in the summertime up in the Northeast, Maine, New England, Hudson, Chesapeake Bay. We also do some new itineraries. I think I sent you those slides, so we'll talk about those in a moment. But we also do a really nice itinerary, Historic South and Golden Isles, which I did in December, and I absolutely loved it. And that's all in the Intercoastal. And we do a nice, cute little program out of Jacksonville that's called the Great Rivers of Florida. Then moving back out to the...
I'll have to try that one. I'm right down here. I have to go hop on that one.
You should definitely go see the ships. Definitely.
Yeah.
And then we do, of course, we do the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands out of Seattle. And we do several different Alaska programs as well. So a nice variety. And, we're always introducing new itineraries. In fact, we just came out with a new itinerary today. It's 12 days on the Mississippi. And so it's kind of an in-between the full Mississippi, and it's bringing on some other cute little towns. As I mentioned, all the towns have significance and history. So I really love the Mississippi. It's one of my favorites. So they're all
iconic.
Great.
Right? It's iconic, right? The Mississippi River. You got to go up and down the Mississippi River at least once in your lifetime, right?
Yes. It's one of those, it's underrated and over delivers, and it's so significant to our country's commerce and everything. It's busy. Yeah. We need the Mississippi River.
Wow. Hi, Norma. Thanks so much for joining in. Now we're going to dive much more into a lot of these itineraries that she's kind of glossing over, but you can see American Cruise Line is pretty much everywhere in the U.S., from the coastals to the rivers. And what I really love about this, and we're going to get into your ships next, is the ships are so small, like she said, 200 people maximum, under 200 people. These ships can get into places where, even the smallest cruise liner, ocean cruise liner, just simply cannot get there. And so the experiences you're going to get, the places you're going to get to go, are going to be different than what you get from the big cruise lines.
Right. Because most of these ports, we can pull right into the towns. Get off the ship, you can do your tours and, walk back and forth to the ship, or we have a shuttle to the ship. So we're trying to bring you as close into the city as possible.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about your fleet? Because we've got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different classes. Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah, and I think there's more to come because, we build them specifically, purposely built for the waterways. Mm-hmm. So those top ones there that you see, the Patriot class, those have not came out yet. Those will be coming out next year, the American Patriot and Pioneer. And those are going to be 130 guests.
Wow.
So, and they're I mean, they're built with more stabilization on them so we can go further away from the coastline.
Wow.
So, yeah. So those are going to be really interesting. The coastal cats, the first two there, the Eagle and the Glory, they came out last year, and they were named after the first two ships in the company's fleet. Um, yeah. So the Liberty and Legend, those two are coming this year, and they're all along the East Coast. We'll actually have three doing the Florida Keys.
Wow.
Not this year, but next year. So, but they do great itineraries. They're only 100 guests. And that's what I did the
Wow.
Historic South on, which it's a great little ship. It's almost like your own private yacht.
Yeah, 100 guests. It would feel like that.
Yes. Then we got those Constellation class, which is our two largest coastals. So one, the Constellation is out doing Alaska and the Puget Sound. And then the Constitution does our American Revolution. It does our Cape Cod, our Grand New England. It does some of our Hudson. So it stays up there in the Northeast all year round doing different itineraries. Not in the wintertime, but most of the year. The Independence class is still, all doing coastal. And we've got two on the East Coast and one out on the West Coast doing Puget Sound. And then we've got the paddle wheelers, which you typically think of when you think of river cruising in the U.S., but we've come a long way. And I will tell you, the paddle wheelers still have a fan base, and they have a tremendous amount of history, which you're certainly going to learn while you're on the ships on the itineraries that the paddle wheelers do. We do have two out on the Columbian Snake and two on the Mississippi. Our smallest one is 100 guests. Our largest is 180. So they're not overly big. And those were all refurbished and modernized a couple years ago. So we did take them from that contemporary look to a more modern contemporary.
Nice.
And then we've got the American river boats. So those look similar to those river cruise ships in Europe. They are about 100 feet shorter in length, but they're much wider because the locks are not as narrow. And they are wonderful ships. They're very quiet. They glide along the water. If we don't have an actual docking platform, we can pull these right into the embankment of the river. And the mouth of the ship, the mouth of the ship opens up and we can embark and disembark this way. And those are 100% balconies. And overall, I will tell you that all the ships have very spacious staterooms because, we do like everything big in the USA. So we have very large staterooms for our guests with, large bathrooms as well, lots of lounges. So, that's it. And by the way, I'll tell you, Walter, we've got 10 more ships we're building in the next few years.
10.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So we really have a lot going on.
I'm trying to think of any other cruise line that actually builds their own ships. That's phenomenal. I love that. I absolutely love that.
That is a requirement by U.S. law.
Is it really?
Our ships must be built in the United States. They must be U.S. flagged, and they must be U.S. crewed. So it's an all-American experience.
That's amazing. That's amazing. We got a great question from Alex. Can you embark and disembark in different ports? And I assume that you mean like on the same day?
Well, the ship is a floating hotel, but usually, we have embarkation cities and disembarkation cities. So, we are in the USA. So I guess if you wanted to get off the ship and not come back, you could. But, if you're doing a full cruise, you're usually, some of them a lot of them are round trip, but there are some that are just one way too. So, but I don't think you need to get off. Usually we're in a different port every day, and we have activities for you. You come and go on the ship if you like. So you're not out like you are on a big ship where you have days at sea where all you see is the sea. On a river cruise ship, you're always close to towns. You're always seeing land, and I think that makes people feel a lot better. And there's very little motion. So
Yeah, and I know. Thank you, Alex, for the question. If anybody else has questions, please feel free. I know I've seen like some cruises in Europe where maybe they stop someplace in the morning and then they're going to stop someplace in the afternoon, but you can actually do an excursion and catch up to the ship. Is there anything like that here, or is it just every day?
We have a couple ports, a couple itineraries that we may do more than one port in one day. I mean, basically, what we're trying to do is when we go to these ports, we're going to, show you the most important things there to see. We're going to take you there at the most important times. And so if there's, just a few things to see, then we'll move along. So,
Okay.
we may only be there in the morning and then we move on, because a lot of these cities are not that far away from each other.
Sure. Sure. So you can always move along there. Actually, we were just about to get to the inclusions, and Rosanna just asked, are the shore excursions included? So why don't you walk through what, and Alex is asking as well. Why don't we go ahead and tell everybody what's actually included with the cruise fare?
Okay, so what we do package in is we package in your gratuities. These are your gratuities to your local, or gratuities to the onboard crew. The local guides and the motor coach drivers are not included in that, in gratuities. So that would be separate, something that you would want to do on your own discretion. Most all of the ships also have self-service laundromats on them, which is a nice benefit. So you don't have to overpack and you can wash what you need. We do have onboard entertainment as well. Local performers, dancers, musicians, comedians. All the cruises do have a guest lecture. This is part of our enrichment program. And what they are, they're historians, and they're bringing these destinations to life for our guests. So they're really important, and they do a talk every day. We do include all the top shelf cocktails available throughout the day. We include Wi-Fi. We have the Starlink Wi-Fi. It works great. We have
Nice.
library computer stations, open seating dining, which means that you can come in the dining room and sit with whomever you like. We can accommodate all the guests at one time. Of course,
Oh,
we have
nice.
wonderful food for you as well. So to answer Roseanne's question about shore excursions, so how we work this shore excursions, if you're on the river cruise product, which would be any of our Mississippi programs, our Columbian Snake program, or Alaska programs, we do include a one-night pre-hotel, and we do include the transfer to the ship from that hotel. In addition, those programs also include a featured tour every day that's hosted by a local guide.
Okay.
Yeah. And the coastal product, we do treat a bit differently. It has most of the same inclusions, except that, we may have only one or two featured tours that are included. So that's where the premium tours would come into play, which run up to $95. And we have signature tours, which are those tours like the jet boat tour through Health Canyon on the Columbian Snake, or Graceland. If you want to do an extra day in Graceland, or some behind the scene tours, on the dam in on the Columbian Snake. We've got several different signature tours. Those have to be booked ahead of time, and they vary in price. So
Okay. Okay. But quite a bit is included. And Rosanna, thank you so much for the question. But quite a bit is already wrapped into the cruise, especially for those people coming from ocean cruising, where a lot of it is not included. You've actually wrapped up quite a bit into the cruise fare.
And really, this is really easy peasy with us. It's a very simple experience for you, because I've been on the big ships too, and I love them. But you got to plan the time you eat. You got to plan the shows you attend. You got to plan all of your tours and all of this stuff. And on board our ships, it's really laid back. We don't have any big dress up nights. It's really country club casual on board. So you could be as busy as you want, or relaxed as you want. It's really up to you. It's your vacation. So we have it there for you, different amenities, and tours, but you don't have to do everything. It's really just what you feel like doing.
Gotcha. And great question from Alex. Rick, looks like you started to ask a question. Go ahead and ask the question again, and I'll bring it in. But Alex is asking, it looks like a few of the ships have single cabins. Are there any major differences between the cabins?
Okay, so some of them, of course, we've got suites on the ships, and they have like two rooms, because they're larger. They have like a part that divides the room. But I will tell you that overall, all the ships have very large staterooms. They're an average of 325 square feet. We do have single cabins on every ship.
That's huge.
Yeah. Every ship has single cabins. They vary the number. The smallest number we have is on the Coastal Cats, which we have, I believe, 3. Um, we've got paddle wheelers. We got a couple of them. One of them has 18 single cabins.
Wow, that's a
Yeah.
lot.
If you wanted to, all have your own single cabin, and we do charge single rates for the singles. If we
Nice.
don't have a single cabin and you're put into a cabin that's based on double, then you would have to pay the single supplement, and that price varies, the supplement charge. But
Sure.
yes, it's a great product for singles. We get a lot of singles. A small number of guests. Everybody gets to know each other very early on. And I think the singles seem to just fit right in there. After the first day, everybody is your new friend. So it's the atmosphere on board. It's good, because everybody's comfortable. They're all talking about what they did, and they're talking about their families and their kids, and it's nice.
That we went on a small ship of 650 passengers over the holidays, and that was the thing I noticed was, you don't have all the big shows at night that you used to on the big ships, and it's more about community and socialization at night where you're kind of hanging. And we got to know more people on that cruise than we have in a long time, so I can only imagine what it's like on these ships.
Well, it's nice. It's just a different experience, river cruising. River cruising is really a cultural experience. It's about history, whether you're doing it here in the USA or you're doing it in Europe. I mean, because, the cities are built around the river. This is how it was in those times, because the river was their way of commerce, and it still is today, but it was very, very important back then, because they didn't have all the cars and all the stuff, but they built boats to go down, and so they built cities around the river. So it's just, in my opinion, one of the best ways to travel, because these are very destination focused.
Yeah.
Really seeing the destination in a different light. And I think it's the funnest way to learn history, because, I can't say I paid good attention in school in history, but today I find it really one of the, most interesting things for me is to learn the history. And in our case, you're definitely going to learn history, but I also believe, because we are from this country and we're learning this history, a lot of this stuff we were not taught in school, but it's very humbling and rewarding. So,
Yeah.
and so I know the guests really enjoy that.
And even learned it, we probably forgot it, and certainly didn't in the way we're going to see it on these ships. Great question from Rick. Are your riverboats mobility accessible?
Okay, so on our ships, we do always have one stateroom that's accessible stateroom. But we also have, we will accept scooters, slow walkers. If they, really have a tremendous amount of difficulty walking, it's really not the best trip, because we still have to get on and off the ship, and we cannot guarantee that all the tours are going to be accessible. Some of the homes and things we go into.
Right.
So we have to evaluate that based on the level of a disability.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure it's a lot like. And thank you, Rick, for the question. I'm sure it's a lot like over in Europe. It's not exactly ADA friendly in Europe, so there's a lot of places where it's just so small, or just the circumstances, right?
Correct. Yes. We do our best, but we try to be honest too, that we can't deliver everything that that's in the program. So
Yeah. So we talked a little bit about it, but for somebody who has only been on the ocean ships, what kind of expectations should they set when they come on to one of your American Cruise Line ships?
Well, I really feel like the biggest thing is that they really don't know what to expect. They have this idea that it's just slow and, maybe boring or this or that. But boy, after the first day or so, they're so wrapped up in this whole thing. I mean, they're so wrapped up into just the in-depth immersion into these
Mhm.
destinations and the history and the experience. So what they can expect when they get on board, they're going to expect a laid-back atmosphere. We've got a young, friendly crew that is going to try to bust their butt to get everything possible, take care of our guests. And we do have an older demographic, so it's a 65 plus, and they love these young kids. And I mean, these kids got so much energy and stuff, and
Yeah.
they're doing all their best to please them. They become like, some of them their grandkids or things like that. So they really enjoy the crew, and they are very sweet. So it's all around. It's the food, delicious food, local cuisine. We have great entertainment for a river cruise line. That's one of the hardest things for river cruise lines is getting entertainment, because we
Sure.
don't have space on the ship for them to stay. But in our case, we're local. So we have that hop on entertainment. So they come on before the ship leaves, and then they get off, a couple hours
Ah.
later, before the ship leaves. So we can have different entertainment in between.
Huh.
So that's nice. And we have some really good stuff, for them, entertaining, and they like it. So, it's just a combination of things. Overall, the tours are great. A lot of
Yeah.
history and cultural tours, but if we've got more active people now, we've got biking and hiking, kayaking, we've got segways, ATVs, we've got culinary tours, wine
Talking my
tours,
language there. Culinary.
brewery, distillery, cemetery, swamp. We have so many things here, and what's
Wow.
surprising is, even myself, I grew up on the upper Mississippi, actually from Alton area, where we start on the upper Mississippi and go up to Minneapolis, and it's
Okay.
really absolutely beautiful. But I lived
Uh,
there all those years. I don't live there now, but all these cities by me, I never went to Hannibal, Missouri, any of these. And even Nashville, it wasn't until a few years ago I ever went to Nashville, and that's only 3 hours away from where I grew up. So it's just
really?
crazy. Yeah. So what it is, you look at our demographic. I told you it is 65 plus, but these are usually folks that are well traveled. They have time and money, and they haven't seen their own country. And there's a lot of us, and they want that peace of mind to be close to home. So
Yeah.
really, that's who we're perfect for.
That's awesome. And it's funny because we all go to Europe, we all go here, we all go there. We don't even think to go in our own backyard and go up to Mississippi.
Yep,
Right.
we do that.
A quick one from Rosanna. Do you have safes in every cabin? I'm assuming yes.
Yes, we do. We do.
Gotcha. And then Alec, I saw a few of the New England cruises. Are you planning to offer more ocean tours? These are coastal tours, obviously.
Yeah, they're all coastal. No, I mean, we go out in the ocean where we need to, but usually, we're along the coastline, because that's where you're going to get to see everything. We get too far out there, and then you don't see along the coastline, which was so nice on the historic South. I never saw. It was just so beautiful with Savannah, Jekyll Island, Beaufort, all these beautiful places, and they're not that far
Right.
from where I live, but I've never been. I have been to Savannah, but not these other places. And I'm like, I'm going to come back. I want to come back to Jekyll Island. I'm going to come back to St. Simons. So,
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah.
yeah. Oh, we used to love going up there. Thank you guys for the questions. This is great. I really appreciate it. And again, we're kind of at the bottom of the hour. I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor. If you're new to the channel, I invite you to like, share, follow. We are sitting here tonight with Cindy from American Cruise Lines. If you did not realize, we have our own homegrown American Rivers and Coastline Cruise Line, all ships less than 200 people, with a lot of inclusion that you might be used to paying more for on the ocean cruise line. So if you've never sailed on American Cruise Line, now is the time to learn about it, and then reach out to me so we can get you on one of these ships. They're absolutely stonking beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. What I want to do now is kind of like maybe go through some of these itineraries. I know you sent me some itineraries. Folks, keep asking your questions as we go through. But the last time Cindy was on, we really didn't get into where the ships go. And she sent me a whole bunch of itineraries that we'll just start going through. And I really like this first one because we've seen a lot of discussion and a lot of news stories about how certain ports up in the New England area are starting to, shut down some of the big ships from coming in. And, you coming in with under 200 people, that means we're going to get to see a lot of places that you can't go when you go on the big ships.
You know what? I love going up in that area in the Northeast in the summertime and all those beautiful little ports. This is actually one of our new itineraries starting this year. It is an 8-day, 7-night. It goes Boston to New York or reverse. And you can see, places we stop like Old Saybrook and Sag Harbor, Plymouth. These are, just really not easy places to get to. And that's what happens with the coastal product is, we're taking you into a lot of these very small ports where the big ships cannot go. And, most often we're docking right inside the town. We just make it easy to see these destinations. Because if you tried to do, some of these places like Martha's Vineyard, that's an ordeal to get over there on the ferry and then coming and going. And if you're staying over there, finding a place to stay and how much it costs and eating there. So we do all that by just being on the ship and taking you there. So what we're doing is trying to just simplify things for you. And you can do that by just coming on board our ships and doing one of these great itineraries.
That's amazing. And I love, Sag Harbor and Plymouth. I mean, there's no way a big ship is getting into there or even trying to do any of this itinerary, I don't think.
Right. And we're actually doing that with one of our new catamarans. So it's only 100 guests.
100 guests. Holy cow. That is absolutely amazing. How about this one? So this is one you were just talking about, I think a little while ago, Florida, Gulf Coast, and the Keys. Now, the thing that a lot of people don't realize, the Keys are like, they're a drive. Some people are like, I'll just drive there from Miami. It's a drive to get down to the Keys. So this is really interesting.
Right. Well, us being Floridians, we know there's no easy way to get to the Keys.
Mm-hmm.
If you drive, even if you're in Miami, that's still a 3-hour drive. And that's hopefully if there's no problems along the way with traffic or accidents or that. So we introduced the Florida Gulf Coast and Keys last December. We had no idea it would be so popular. It sold out immediately.
Wow.
And so it leaves out of St. Petersburg. We make a couple stops along the way. And we come down to Key West and we spend two nights down there. And you get to see the lovely sunsets that we offer here in Florida, but it's really, really lovely down in the Keys. The guests can go over to the Dry Tortugas. We have a tour that we sell over there, but it's very limited number of guests that can go. But there is a ferry that will take them over to the Dry Tortugas. And, for some folks, that's one place that they've always wanted to go, They wanted to do that. And it's just not easy to go, but this makes it a bit easier for you by doing this program. We had such great comments and response from the Florida Gulf Coast and Keys programs that we are going to have 3 ships doing that program. Not this next year, but the following year when we have more of the catamarans. Yes.
Wow. Wow. And I see actually this is a great question from Alex because I know where he's going with this. Any chance you would be able to do a Hawaii itinerary, although the islands might be further apart than the map displays? And I know why he's asking because you have to be American flagged in order to do that. And right now there's only one ship that can do that. Do you think there's ever a possibility you might do something like that?
Well, you know what? Our owners, I know that it is in the works. I'm not sure when it will be. There has to be specific ships built for that waterways.
Right.
And when we go out there, we'll go big. And like you said, we're Americans, so we don't leave the country on any of our programs. And that works for Alaska. That works for Alaska too. You don't have to leave the country like the big ships do. Right. But yeah, definitely Hawaii is down the pike. There's just, like I said earlier, there's literally hundreds of waterways, but we have to build the ships that can operate on them. And our philosophy is, we want to try and keep these all under 200 guests. I know they will be bigger than the catamarans that do that, but down the pike, but nothing specific I can tell you. I just know that they have so many wheels in motion right now.
Yeah.
Because, there's so much interest in seeing the USA now. There really is. And I love that because I love my country and I'm one of those very patriotic girls. And so that's why I enjoy seeing so much of the country this way.
Yeah. And I love that question. And I love the idea because literally there's only one way that we can do it right now. There's only one ship that can do it. Otherwise, you got to come from California, ride all the way around and then go to Mexico on the way back. But boy, if you guys were going to come out, I would guess something that's like around 250, maybe 300 passengers, because it would have to be a little bit bigger to be out in the open water like that. But, that's going to be, I can see we're going to have a future show at some point to talk about this.
Yeah, well, I hope I have more details sooner than later. But I know that, they don't always tell us everything because they don't want us to blab.
What?
But,
what? They don't want you to tell us?
Well, we're kept secrets, so if they don't tell us, then they're not, then we can't tell you. But I know that we will eventually be there. Exactly when, I don't know. But, why wouldn't we be? I mean, we're American and
Right.
Hawaii's part of America. So,
Right. And you mentioned Alaska, so let's go ahead and pop that one up there because unlike the big cruise lines, if they're going to do round trip Seattle, they've got to go to Victoria or they have to go somewhere in Canada and make a token 3-hour stop. You don't have to do that.
Right. We do such a great job in Alaska. I don't think a lot of people know that we're there. We do have one ship there, which is the Constellation. It's 170 guests. Because of the size of the ship, this allows us to go in the most smallest ports where the big ships cannot go. We're American. We don't have to leave the USA and come back in. We have a naturalist that takes our guests out on the tours.
Oh, wow.
What's so great about it is because why do we go to Alaska? We go to see the marine life and the wildlife. That's why we go. And that's what's so exciting is because our guests experience this really in-depth, great way to see Alaska. And now what we've done is, since we are here in America, why don't we put these national parks? So this year we started doing Denali National Park and Kenai Fjords National Park with our Alaska programs, a couple of our Alaska programs. So we give them that opportunity to do that extension because, I think personally myself, I've done not our cruise, but a cruise in Alaska before. And I really feel like I missed out a lot because I didn't do the national parks.
Right.
And you got to do those. I mean, if you're all the way there, you should at least do them one time because Alaska is one of those places you go to many times. It's so vast. There's so much to see there, and explore.
Yes.
So.
Wow. Absolutely stunning. And you're talking about national parks, and I've got the national parks and legendary rivers for 15 days and 14 nights. This is absolutely incredible. Hayden Island, Oregon to Jackson, Wyoming, or Jackson, Wyoming to Hayden Island. Holy cow. Can you talk us through this a little bit?
Okay. So, where we're starting on here is from Jackson, Wyoming to Portland or reverse. So we sell, of course, the Columbian snake, which goes from Portland to Clarkston or reverse. Just the cruise portion is really a 7-night cruise, 1-night land, which a lot of people do. But we do now offer the national parks, the Yellowstone, Grand Tetons, and Glacier National Park on a 7-night land. It's packaged with our cruise. And it's called the National Parks and Legendary Rivers. And when we do the national parks, those folks that are going on the whole deal, we only take 40 guests because that's what our motor coach holds.
Wow.
So we have our own guides, and so it too is a very intimate experience. So we don't have them all clustered on the motor coach, and we're spending 2 days in each of these parks.
Wow.
got our own guide. So this was a really hot ticket item. Initially, we were just doing it one direction. Now we do it both directions to offer more availability. And it's, I think it's all sold out for this year. There may,
Wow.
most likely have to book for 25 for national parks. And that's the
Wow.
same with, I think you got the next slide, which is the Smoky Mountains.
Smoky Mountains. Hold on. I'm going to find it. I've got it. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park. Yeah, I had to print out everything so I could see them all. There it is.
So
Got
the
it.
Smoky Mountains is something new for us this year. We do this nice cruise from Chattanooga to Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
And now we offer the Smoky Mountain, like a 3-night package that does the Smoky Mountains. So that too sold out immediately. It's like, you know what? Again, if you're going to do these, go ahead and do the national parks. The national parks are always so popular with people. We all hear about them, but would love to see them. So, only fitting that we merge the two together and we have these nice choices for our guests.
Yeah. And I love hearing it when you say that they're sold out, because there's a lot of interest. It's good to see that there's so much interest in just touring our own country as well as going outside.
Right. Well, people come from all around the world to learn our history and see our country. And I once had somebody say that they were in Paris and they asked, have you, that they were excited they had been to the Grand Canyon. And they asked her if she'd ever been to the Grand Canyon. And she said, oh, my God, I've traveled all over Europe and I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Right.
So There's a lot of us. We go outside to find, what's out there. But we do have so much great history and so many beautiful things to see right here in the USA.
We do. And even Jen is saying inland Alaska is so different than coastal Alaska. And you are absolutely correct, Jen. It is a bucket list place. I've been once. We're going back next year. Alex, I think we're going to have to wait. He's asking how large of a ship can you build and still be able to visit some of the smaller ports. That's about Hawaii. I think we're going to have to wait.
We're not going to be the size of, who's there right now. We're never going to be that size. No, it's still going to be a small ship. It'll still be smaller than anybody else's ships that are out there operating today. I mean, that is our philosophy is to stay small because we want to, offer the best experience, where the guests get to know each other and have that immersed atmosphere.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. I mean, basically, Alex, just wait, stay tuned. We'll find out together how big the ship is going to be.
Because, once we build these ships pretty quickly and, once they get everything finalized, they'll put it out when it's ready to be sold. And, we got to plan ahead, for sales a year at least before we start. So we'll get it together though. And I really believe, it's down the pike.
It's down the pike. That's truly awesome. Next one I've got here is the Grand Ohio River coming into, it looks like you started up in 2024. Pittsburgh to St. Louis or St. Louis to Pittsburgh.
Yes. Now we're doing the Ohio River, but we extended it like 3 more nights. So we're visiting more ports. So now we renamed it the Grand Ohio River, and we operate this in the summertime and just early fall because the tributaries, that upper part, in the early part of the year tends to have high water. So we operate in the summertime when it's better for us. And so it's a great itinerary. Like I said, we're going to discover something very significant on every one of these little stops that we visit. And I have seen the Ohio River before when I was in Kentucky, and I thought it was so beautiful. I mean, it really is a beautiful river.
It is just a beautiful area, and I'm looking in here where you're going. I mean, you're going to a lot of fun. I see Louisville's in there, Wheeling. Oh my goodness, just so many cool little places. And I don't think people, realize just how beautiful our rivers are. I grew up in the Hudson Valley, so I know just how beautiful the whole Hudson River Valley is up that way. And there is something about just going down the rivers, and seeing from down there.
We have our tour department that puts these these programs together with the land excursions and the things that they offer. And they come up with some of the most amazing experiences for our guests that, you know, we don't even know if we live in that town that is even offered. I don't know where they find all this stuff, but they really are amazing at finding this stuff for our guests. So that's what makes it, makes it so much fun, you know. And then of course the historian's going to talk to you about the city every day and about the pioneers and Lewis and Clark or whoever on the program that you're on. So right.
And I love this. So Alex is excited. That's his home itinerary, Cincinnati. Hey, you'll be happy to know that my host agency, KHM, is up in Cleveland in the Ohio area. In fact, I'll be up there in July. Finally, going to see Cleveland for the first time. And Rick said he's from Utah and he was 50 years old when he saw all the national parks in Utah. See, there you go. It takes a while to see our own backyard.
Sure does. I know. Wow. We have so much here to see. I mean, I haven't been to all the states. You know, I know some people have, but you know, there's still a lot of states I've never gone to, but I've traveled quite extensively in Europe. So
yeah. And you've talked about, you know, before when we were talking about excursions, and I didn't bring this up earlier, I apologize. I missed the slide completely. But you have 3 different levels of shore excursions, or at least I think you still do. Can you kind of walk us through what these are?
Sure. The featured tours are the tours that are complimentary, and these are escorted by local guides. And on the river cruise products, Mississippi itineraries, as well as the Columbian Snake in our Alaska program, we do include a featured tour every day. Okay. On the coastal, we do include featured tours. Depending on the itinerary, we may have a couple, we may have just one or none. Just depends on that. But that's where the premium tours come in. They run up to $95. And so, you know, if you've done a featured tour in the morning that was included and you want to do something else in the afternoon that was offered, you can purchase a premium tour. We allow you to book those up to 60 days before. The signature tours are Graceland, Hell's Canyon, you know, behind the scenes of the Boonville Dam, things like that. Those are signature. They have to be booked ahead of time. They vary in price. So
gotcha.
We've got a really nice selection though, overall.
Wow. A really nice selection. And we've talked about this a couple of times that you guys, American Cruise Line is literally America. You don't go to any other countries at all, but you do actually have a sister that does. And they are, let's see, get this right, Pearl Sea Cruises. So how does that work?
Okay, so yes, we stay strictly in the United States. You wouldn't need a passport. The only time you're going to need a passport is if you're on the Puget Sound and San Juan Islands and you want to go up to the Blue Shot Gardens in Victoria. Gotcha. But other than that, you don't need it. So we have a sister company, a beautiful sister. Her name is Pearl Mist, and she is a coastal ship, and she's operated separately. She is owned by the same owners, but the ship was built internationally, and it is internationally flagged, and it has an international crew. So with that said, it can leave the U.S. waterways. So we do these beautiful itineraries that go from the U.S. into Canada or reverse. So most popular is the Great Lakes and the Georgian Bay, which we offer an 11-night or 7-night. That stops in Mackinac Island. It visits Niagara Falls. So really popular. That's operated in the summer. We have a Maine Coast and fall foliage. Maine Coast and Canadian harbors that we do in the fall. And then we've got the Canadian Maritimes and St. Lawrence Seaway, which we do a couple times a year. And then also we have some St. Lawrence Seaway that we combine with the Great Lakes. So we have what's nice about Pearl, she's a very nice ship to really large staterooms. I believe we have like 12 single staterooms on there too. Oh, wow. The itineraries that she does are very, very, very unique. So, and we have a lot of experience. There are a couple other cruise lines that go into the Great Lakes, but we've been doing it for probably 10 years or more. So we do have a lot of experience, and We get a lot of guests from American Cruise Line that transfer over onto Pearl, and we do allow them to use their rewards and credits, as an appreciation.
That's cool.
What do you call,
Loyalty?
Past loyalty program. Yes.
Yeah. Very nice. Very nice. So folks, hey, Betty, how are you? Thanks for joining in. And thank you everybody for joining in tonight. I hope you've been enjoying this discussion about all things American rivers and American coastline. We all lean into, I want to go to the Danube. I want to go to the Rhine. I want to go here. I want to go there. Well, maybe you want to go to the Snake River, go to the Mississippi, go up and down America's coast with an American owned and operated and who builds their own ships. I think that is absolutely phenomenal. And one of the things that Cindy shared with me before we came on the air is you've got a lot of great specials going on right now, like up to $4,000. If you can sail this year for the 2024 season, there are some amazing specials up to like between $1,000 and $4,000 off sailings for 2024. Including like the complete Mississippi 4,000 off. I think that's absolutely amazing. But I've got like 5 pages of specials. So if you're interested in sailing on American Cruise Lines, and even I see Pearl is in here as well, we have specials from $1,000 to $4,000 off sailings in 2024. So if you had to pick one, which one is your favorite, Cindy?
Oh gosh. I don't, I think, if you're first time with us, the Lower Mississippi is our most popular program. And you're going to learn, of course, a lot about the Civil War, a lot of the music themed as well. But it's the beautiful landscape and the history there, the, beautiful antebellum homes. It's really nice. And so I think it's a good place to start. And the Columbian Snake is the next, or, you could jump to that one first if you want, but it's so vast and beautiful out there on the Columbian Snake. I believe we go through like 8 locks and dams where the water level changes. We do offer too, some of those dates, Walter, also have complimentary air on them too.
I see that.
And, on the Columbian Snake, that airfare out there is usually pretty pricey if you were to buy it yourself. So some of those dates we are giving complimentary air, but we do sell air too for $4.95 round trip on all the programs, except the last one, $7.95, and that is a coach class. But it's still a good deal. Still a very good deal because it does cost more that. So we are subsidizing that.
No, that's amazing. But yeah, Columbian Snake River, October 11th, October 18th, October 10th, or October 11th through the 18th, 10th through the 17th, 31st.
That's a great time to go out there.
It is.
Fall. Yes.
Complimentary air on all of those. October 15th, October 22nd. Yeah, you got a lot of complimentary. I mean, there are a lot of sailings. So folks, not only you're going to get, $1,000 to $4,000 off, they're throwing in the airfare as well to get you there. And this is for both guests for double occupancy.
The discount is per cabin, but on those sheets. But the air is, the air is both complimentary air.
Wow, that's incredible. And then some of these have a complimentary pre-night as well in the location. So, folks,
a few of those.
If you can cruise this year, if you're ready to go, I mean, I'm holding this up. I've got 3 sheets here full of complimentary air and up to $4,000 off. Lower Mississippi, Gulf Keys, Grand Ohio, Music City, Tennessee Rivers, Columbia Snake River, Puget Sound, Alaska Inside Passage, complimentary air. Holy cow. I'm going to get that one. Y'all just forget about it. I'm going to take that one. I love this. This is amazing. But seriously, which one? Okay, but you still didn't tell me. You told us which one is a good one for people to start with, but what's your favorite?
Well, you know what? I haven't done all of them, but I would love to try the Great Lakes on Pearl for one, because I've always wanted to go there. But on American, I think, I really enjoyed all of them, but I think the Colombian Snake is really one of the most beautiful itineraries. And then of course the Northeast, I have not personally been able to do any of those, but I would like to do the American Revolution. That's a great one out of Baltimore, or now we go out of Washington, D.C. That's a really nice itinerary.
Wow.
And then I love Maine. I would do Maine.
Oh yeah.
Maine. So I don't know. There's just a lot of them. They're all good. They're all good. And,
it's a beautiful country. So many different ways to see it. I would love to do one that goes down the St. Lawrence Seaway, because I used to go fishing there every year as a kid. It'd be kind of neat to just cruise down that.
Beautiful. I went to Quebec last year, and there was a St. Lawrence Seaway right out there. So I thought, I'd love to do this. And, to go to Mackinac Island too. That's not an easy place to get to. That's why I thought that would be a great itinerary to do as well.
And Jen's got one of my favorite sayings. It sounds like your favorite ship is the one you're on. So, Cindy, it sounds like your favorite cruise is the one you're on.
Exactly. Because you know what? Like I did the Historic South, and, those places, I just never had any idea of the history and the beautiful stuff. I really didn't, or I would have done a road trip a long time ago and done that. I've been to Savannah. In Savannah, you could spend days in Savannah. There is just amazing place with the history.
Easy.
But all of those places. So that itinerary is really, really nice. They're all popular. They're all popular. We get people that come on and they usually rebook again on board, and because they've met new friends, they're comfortable, they like it, they've decided they want to see more of the United States. And we give them a nice incentive, to rebook again on board with us. And so we got a lot of past passengers that have done, a dozen or more cruises. Yeah.
Can you share some of like what some of those incentives are, or do they change all the time?
Well, they give them 15% off on their next cruise. And, a lot of times they're going a year from now, and usually we've had several price increases by the time, so they're buying it. Plus, I think, they do give sometimes some tours, or the premium tours, complimentary. So they do get benefits, as past guests too. So, but the 15% is a good deal. I mean, usually we never have that kind of discount out there. So they do take advantage of it, and we've got them in the right mood and everything. They've had a great time, and they're like, okay, I'm going to go ahead and do this another time. And I enjoyed this so much, so I want to do it again. So
you do it at the end of the cocktail party. Come on, let's go.
Well, we tried several times during the cruise, so we know the ones that are thinking about it heavily. So.
Yeah, and I mean 15% off, that is a very generous. I mean, I don't know anybody who offers maybe 5%, maybe 10%, but 15% off, that's a very generous offer for a future cruise. I like that.
It is.
Yeah.
It is going to be the best deal, down the road because of the price increases every quarter usually.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, Cindy, this has been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. I hope y'all are ready to start exploring your own backyard. I mean, there may be some of y'all watching on the replay from other countries. And if you are watching from Europe or places outside and you want to start exploring America, maybe seeing it from the rivers, maybe you've been trying to figure out, well, how am I going to visit America? Maybe American Cruise Life would be a great way, work it into your itinerary. Maybe you do some river and you do some land, but what an amazing way to get to explore both the beauty, the majesty, and the history of this incredible country. It's been a lot of fun, Cindy. I'm so glad you came on tonight.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Walter. We always got plenty to talk about.
I know. We've got more itineraries that we didn't even show. But folks, if you want to know about all the I know. So, folks, I hope you've had a good time here tonight. Again, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor, and and if we can help you in any way with your American Cruise Line tours, or you want to talk about the pages and pages of specials that I have with complimentary air up to $4,000 off, if you can travel in 2024, and they're always coming up with new promos, but especially if you're ready to travel in 2024, reach out. Let's get you on one of these American Cruise Line tours. I mean, I'm ready to go. I mean, we're right here in Florida. I'm looking at that Florida cruise right now, the Golden Isles and all that. Okay, I'm ready to go get on that one myself. Let's do this.
That leaves out Amelia Island, which is such a nice little place to visit.
Yes.
Such a cute
I've
town.
never been, so that'll give me a reason to go there.
You gotta go, Walter. It is it is adorable up there. It really is. You'll love it.
Awesome. Well, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in tonight. Again, I'm Walter, your independent travel advisor. You can reach us through links in the description. You can reach us at where'swaltertravel.com. If we can help you, please do reach out. Our services are 100% free to you, thanks to our amazing travel partners like American Cruise Line. And we thank you very much for tuning in. I hope these Thursday evenings are helpful for you. We love having you on here, Cindy. I love the idea of American river cruising.
Again, thanks for this opportunity, for allowing me to tell your guests about a great way to see the United States.
Awesome. All right, everybody, have an amazing evening. Good night, all.